Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track from acts chi4 and TK, or Tetsuya Komuro, titled I'll Be There. And if we switch over to YouTube, we're going to be watching the video in a moment. This is a part of the TK and Amina NFT project sort of thing. They're doing STEM renovations. This is the 9th of them. So we're going to listen through this track from start till finish. Full disclosure, I've listened to a few of these. I've enjoyed myself with them so far. And yeah, we're going to hear what we think with this one. Let's go. I'm familiar with that motif now, with those synths and the filtering and the automation there. Nice panning of that on the sides, dude. Oh, that piano development's fantastic. It might have been there with the original, but... I like the English lyrics. We're doing a good job. We're doing a good job. I like the tone of voice. It's kind of like a sort of essential kind of whisper kind of thing there. Very soft to mirror what's going on with those synth parts. I like how we're sticking with that original theme in a slightly different version as well. It's cool. Oh, that change. It's like a train. Shout out to people as well who put lyric videos up. I really appreciate it. It can be difficult sometimes to get the words clearly on a listen. And so to have reinforcement of that on the screen, as long as it's not distracting, like sometimes people put like screeds of lyrics up, and that can be a little bit too much. But if you're putting like a line at a time or something like that, like you would with subtitles or something, I think that's great. Really strong imagery there. I can actually imagine the moon doing that, you know? It's such an intense shift there. Like, it does lift eventually, but it goes really dark for a moment with the harmony there. And it's unexpected each time, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I just think it's just such an excellent little transition there. It's powerful, man. It's good when music is unpredictable, as long as that unpredictability is still pleasant to listen to. I like the work we're doing as well, because it can be easy to focus on the lyrics. I like those little fills, those crescendos with the drums, and kind of everything sort of like flattening out, allowing there to be a little bit of space without that low end in these verse sections. Nice work with those little synth parts on the high end. Solitario is my best, like it, that's it. I like how you got the notebook sort of like visuals going on here as well. Kind of the melodic rapping as well is a good touch. Like, it's this shift with the vocals, and it matches some of the sort of developments that we have with the accompaniment motif behind it. And oh damn, we really built it up there with those vocals at the end. Sensational, sensational. What else do we like about this so far? I think it's just those little flutters of the guitar at the end of that sort of whooshy part that we just had before this section. It's those charming little adjustments there, by pulling yourself away from the lead part. Let's come back in. Nice use of the bells, like the sleigh bells, ding, ding, ding. Like, I wouldn't have thought to put that in there. That's the beauty about these renovations, is that people are like trying to approach it from different angles, make the song their own. I think that's the capacity of creativity within the art form, is that you're never going to get the same thing twice. That's what makes it so cool. Maybe like a sequencer on this side. We've got a chord and no groove with those drums as well. It's pulsating, it's moving forwards, it's unrelenting. Pax Japonica groove. I love those synthie electro vibes. Excellent. Excellent work. Yeah, it's a group project, isn't it? It's a collaboration. It's how it's meant to be, right? Musicians working together, making great music. Because this is my conclusion of this track, I'll Be There by chi4 and TK, or Tetsuya Komuro. STEM Renovation number 9. What do I think about this track? What is it about? I think this track is about someone who is far away from where they want to be with someone else, and they're kind of struggling with that situation there. They want to be closer, they want to show their love, they want to have that connection. Maybe there's another girl on the way or something like that. Maybe they're on another planet and they wish they could go interstellar to be able to bridge the gap. But they're saying that I'll be there if they get the opportunity to do so, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I mean, when you listen to the actual vocal performance itself, it sounds like the person, whether they were rapping or doing the singing for the most part, double tracks there, all of it sounded incredibly passionate. Like they really wanted to be a part of that. Like they really wanted to sell the story that was going on with those lyrics, and I think they nailed it. Again, I'm not under the impression that this is our first language, but I don't think that was a detriment. They did really well, and I could hear what was going on for the most part without the lyrics, but I'm still glad that we had them, just in case I misinterpreted anything. They did really well. Again, like, it's difficult to sing in a language that's not your first. But yeah, no, I'm very proud of them for that. It's good to be brave and to try things like that. I think that the motif behind those vocals, and it's a testament to their ability as a singer, because they did have great control over their head and chest voice, and they did lift sometimes, and there was a lot of power behind that. You could tell if they had no inhibitions, they could really let loose. But they were also trying to sort of show a bit of vulnerability there, and I think that's incredibly important. I think that if you do not allow yourself to show that sort of perceived weakness there to sort of fit with the position we're in, where we're wanting someone else and we can't have that, it becomes disingenuous. And I'm glad that chi4 could find that within herself to show both sides. The person who's not going to give up and will continue to move forward, even if there's a bit of indecisiveness over whether or not to wake up even at the very end. Really charming stuff, really fantastic choice there. I think that the motif behind it is one I'm familiar with at this point, with it being a Tetsuya Komuro STEM renovation. But it's again, as I mentioned, I think that changing and manipulating it in ways between musicians that is meaningful, and there is a malleability to it, a flexibility with it, where if it's just the synth layer, for example, you can get the drums and the guitar and the bass and all that going in there and syncing along to it, and you can really make it your own, and it's no different related to the sampling that they did with hip hop and the turntablism in the 90s and 2000s, and a lot of the pop music sampling that they had as well throughout. A lot of people use samples nowadays of all sorts of things, and it's just about making sure that it's tasteful and that obviously it's legal, because if you're just copying an entirety of the thing without being transformative, then obviously there's going to be some ramifications there if they can prove it was deliberately negligent or deceitful, but that obviously isn't what we're having here. I think that with this track, they absolutely smashed what was going on with the contrast of the drums, which were mostly a chord notes to groove with some sort of fill bits occasionally, with the activities going on with those synths and everything like that on the side with the 16th note grooves there. I liked the constant sense of movement, even when it did contrast nicely with when the drums came out and we didn't have those. We were willing to shift our sort of speedometers a little bit just to illustrate range between those verse and chorus sections. especially with the AB structure we had for a lot of the time. But at the same time, I think that it still flew by. It was 3 minutes 30. It felt reasonably short, even though a lot of tracks are between 2 and 4 minutes nowadays. And ultimately, I think the guitar parts, the drum, bass, and synths and everything went along really well with the original sort of like track that again Tetsuya TK put in there. I think that they managed to get that nestled in there well again to make it chi4's own. And I don't think they needed to do anything differently. I think they even had different sort of sequences or melodic steppers or something like that as we went along. And we managed to, especially with those little piano flutters as well near the end and everything like that, little bits of ornamentation and legato and stuff. It's very graceful. There was restraint there as well. I think we could have gone harder with some of those instruments, but we knew to keep everything reasonably nice and level. Good sense of chemistry between it. Ultimately, very effective composition, and when you couple it with a good story and vocals that are on point, for the most part, I think that's sensational. And then finally, the production, recording, mixing, mastering, I'm very happy with it. It does sound well recorded. The vocals had an interesting tone to them, but like a good interesting tone. I liked how they were EQ'd and filtered in the presence in the mix. I liked how the overdubs were done as well. I think that what was happening with the rest of the instruments and how they were filtered and leveled and stuff was great. We had a bit of automation go with some of the panning of the instruments and stuff like that, and a few phasing filters and sort of builds and pushy things for the outro, the hooks. And I think that was tasteful. That was fine. I think that the limiting compression of the track was great. It was nice and loud without pumping or being sort of inhibited by the crushing of that threshold. And all in all, it was nice and wide in stereo field as well, you know, with not only with the automation, but it's just in general, it sounded like it surrounded you, and those vocals, wherever they were, worked well with the rest of the instruments. And all in all, it's a positive review. I don't really know what we could have done to improve this. I'm very happy with what chi4 and TK have got here for today. And that is effectively my review of this track, I'll Be There by chi4 and TK. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show these artists some love via their various social medias and their respective YouTube pages. And stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time as you need to help. More than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.